Welcome back to RMS. As you all know, I'm Bob. It's lovely and sunny down here in Sandwich in Kent, and it is proper hot down here. But we're still going to make a video for you. We've got this Mercedes come in. It's got an exhaust temperature sensor fault. It's had a brand new, genuine sensor fitted. Hasn't fixed the fault, so the garage just sent it down to us, or sent the customer down to us. We're going to have a look into it, see what we can do. So the first thing we've done is confirm the customer complaint. Engine light is on. We've gone into it. We've scanned it. So it did come up with a DPF excessive value listed, but that is cleared. It's coming up with sensor number 3, exhaust sensor number 3. Problem is with these, normally they're in order. Front one first, middle one second, last one third, but you can never rely on that. So we have got to be careful that they're fitted the correct sensor, because the software or the codes which they give you, it's only got to have something written in it slightly different, and yeah, it will get the ump. And also, we've got to be careful on the diagram of what the dealer lists or what the scanner lists, or if you're going after market sort of diagrams, what they've listed as sensor number 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully it's all okay, but we don't know until we get into it. So, like I say, we've got number 3 listed. We've actually got 3 sensors in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the other 2, just to make sure we can actually introduce fault codes in on the other 2 circuits and make sure they're okay. We can check on live data to see what's going on there. And then we can look through, find out which one is number 3, see if they fit the right sensor, and then we'll go down that route of checking the wiring, ECUs, etc. So let's have a look at that. First thing we've done, we have disconnected. There's a sensor right at the top of the exhaust, and the plug is just in the top of the engine. Disconnected that one. It's introduced sensor number 1 fault into the ECU. So we know that one's okay. There's 2 tucked up underneath down the back of the engine. Both the plugs are there. The middle sensor is the older one. The rear sensor is the new genuine sensor. So what we need to do is try and disconnect the second one, see what happens on that. If that one comes up with sensor number 2, then we've only got to concentrate on that third sensor, see what the difference is between them 3 sensors, and hopefully we'll be able to work it out. And yeah, so we've got the middle sensor unplugged now, and that has come up with temperature sensor number 2. So we know that the circuit on that one is okay, because if we clear that one back up, that one will clear. So we know that we're going to that rear sensor where it's had the new sensor. The next thing we're going to do is go and check the diagram out. Let's see if there's anything linked on it. So check where they go back to the ECU so we can pin it out, so we can see exactly what's going on there, because it's going to be a struggle to get down to the wiring down the back while it's all connected up. But we can check what's going on at the front, see if we've got any readings at all on the pins. So diagram first, then we'll have a look at the ECU side of it. So there we go. We've got sensor number 1, 2, and 3. So we are assuming that the one on number 3 is the one we're looking at. But again, we've got to be careful in case they're the wrong way around. So we can trace them back. What we've got is we have got one linked wire to all 3. This is either going to be feed or ground to each sensor. We're pretty sure that them ones are going to be okay, because these 2, so it's saying number 1 and number 2 is okay. So from the ECU to 2 of the sensors is definitely okay. But then we've got 3 individual feeds back to the ECU to tell you exactly what them sensors are doing. So let's check out what F46 is on the pin data, see if it's going to be a power or a ground. Temperature sensor 1 and 2, they both share the earth. Pin 46 is the earth coming out. So that is this end plug here. And it also says it down at, it says exhaust sensor number 1, exhaust sensor 2. So yeah, it's not quite reading correctly. But F46 again is the earth. So it is going to be a common earth. And then it comes in on pin 39 and pin 48 and 49. So we're going to check what we got on them pins, see what voltages we've got coming out of them, make sure it all lines up with this data, and then we'll check back down at them sensors, see what the difference is. We've got the top of the ECU plugs off, so we've we've back probed into 2 sensors, pin 49 and pin 39. They're both in there. Pin 48, which it says is temperature number 1, isn't even in there. which is a bit strange because when we pulled that temperature sensor, it threw a code. So it's obviously not 100% accurate on the diagrams, but there we go. So what we've got is, let me show you quickly. So we've back probed in with our T-pins. We're going to be using our mechanic mindset meter, and one pin, 48, is 5 volt, 4.9, and the other one is 0.9 of a volt. So that shows that the 0.5, which I would think is going to be the open circuit on that sensor, is giving the reference voltage, but it's not getting earthed back through the sensor. So it could be the sensor itself, the plug, etc. It could be a number of things. The other one, which is at 0.9, so that one is dropping the voltage down through its earth path. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to link them two together, see if it changes it on live data, and then we'll know that the one which is dropping from 5 volt down to whatever it drops down to when it's connected to the other sensor, that'll either drop down to 0.9 or 0.18, because the resistance in the sensor, if it's shared between two loads, it may actually half. But let's see what that's dropped down to when we connect them together, and then we can look at it on live data, and then we'll make a plan of what we're going to do. Sorry about the buzzing. It's the engine's powered up and it's doing its buzzing. There's nothing I can do because I'm trying to work on it live. So here we go. So I've just linked. So I've linked out them two pins with the multimeter, and yeah, it's gone to sort of 1.5 volts. Drop that one down to, which would mean it's actually going to be quite hot. And it has brought the temperature to 330 degrees, so it does mean that it's getting a signal in. If I disconnect that, drops back down to 300. There we go. So pin 46 is the earth path. We know that that's good on the other two sensors. If we link pin 39 to 49, it drops the voltage down, because this one's actually dropping the voltage down. It only drops it down to 1.8 like I thought it would do instead of the 0.9. And it does change the reading on the live data. So we know either the earth path past the splice where it splices off to the other ones could be faulty, or the 5 volt reference down to the sensor could be faulty. So we're going to try and pull them wires out the back of the engine, test what we've got on there, and hopefully we'll be able to find something. And there we go. Once again, sorry about the buzzing, but the engine buzzes up when the ignition's on. So we've got our 5 volt on that one, and 5 volt on that one. So we know that the 5 volt from the ECU to the sensors is okay. Now let's just swap the meter over. It's gone to positive, and we'll check the earth path. We should get battery voltage. Got 0.2 of a volt on that one, and we've got 11.5 volts on that one. So the two earths, which are meant to be the same, which funny enough they do change colour, which it says it changes colour, brown colour. So that earth has failed. So yeah, there we go. 5 volt to the sensor is good. Earth to one is spot on. Earth to the other one is not there. So now we need to check straight from pin 49, 49, the linked one, straight from that one, back up into that loom, find out exactly where it goes. I'm going to try and use the beep tester, see if that'll show us what's going on. So let's have a look at that. But before we shoot that wire in, look what we've got. Let's go and show you around this. This is a Celica GT4, but it's not only a normal GT4. This is Motor Addict's GT4. So if you like automotive content and you like big engines, but in small cars and things like that, go and check them out. They're amazing at what they do. They've got all sorts on there. Aerial atoms going about 4 billion mile an hour turbocharged, all that sort of stuff. They're doing some amazing stuff over on their channel. So they bought this one in for a non-start. It's actually one of their own personal cars. So we are going to check it out. This will be in the next video, whether I get it finished or not. This is the next car going on. So hopefully you like that one. Let's get back into the Merc. He's a genius. Hot genius, but he's a genius. Right, I'll show you what we found. Problem is, normally on engine ECU work, you've got one plug that goes down into sort of the fuse box area for powering it up, and then out the other side down this sort of loom will take all the wiring down to the sensors. Like you can see what ones around there down to the injectors and things like that. Not this one, no. It comes out the front loom, heads towards the car, down into like the fuse box area and everything, splices back off, goes underneath the airflow meter and then back out, and then rejoins into the main engine loom and out. So we tried using the beep tester, sending a signal back down this way, but because it splices off and goes back into that one, but it must splice twice because it was sending signals everywhere. I tried going from the ECU plug that way, so it would come through, and it just disappeared and teed off. So yeah, didn't work too well, but I did see a multi-plug underneath the airflow meter, which joins the car loom to the engine loom on that splice. So I thought I'd go under there, split it off, and see if I could find it that way. And this is what we found. Wiring loom's been chafing onto this bracket underneath, and it's worn through that wire. That is the one. So it just needs that wiring repairing, insulate the other wires, secure it up properly so it's not rubbing, and then that should bring everything back online. So I'm going to get that done, put this all back together. I'm not going to record it because it's too hot, and I'll show you it when it's all done. So as you can see, no engine lights on and no fault code stored in the scan tool. There's another one done. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you do, stick a like down below, comment if you can, and if you'd like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That will tell you when we've got a new video out, and then you'll see all of our videos in the future. So thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one.